Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to this inaugural edition of SICCI's Core Connect series of webinars. This is an initiative which the Southern India Chamber of Commerce, jointly with the Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, has initiated. And I thank all the participants for their overwhelming response. I also request all the participants to stay muted so that we are able to hear the speakers well. To kick off today's proceedings, I would now like to invite Mr. V.N. Shivshankar, Vice President of the Southern India Chamber of Commerce and founder VNS Legal, to deliver the formal welcome address. Mr. Shivshankar, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, Vinod. Thank you for the brief introduction. Mr. George Koshi, Chairman, SICCI Employability Task Force and Head Learning and Development, Hyundai Motor India. Professor Ganesh Vaidyanathan, Principal, Venkateswara College of Engineering. Mr. Larul Ananda Prabhu, HR Head, Royal Enfield. Mr. Babu Ramachandran, Director, Alstom India. And Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, Executive Director, Build HR. And other friends who have joined us today. I take great pleasure in welcoming all of you to this session on demystifying the possibilities in core engineering, future of mechanical and automobile engineering. Southern India Chamber of Commerce and Industry, jointly with Venkateswara College of Engineering, has taken a lead to bring in more awareness on the various streams of study available and provide a 360-degree view of the way forward. The world is completely changing, and it's necessary that everyone is aware of the changes which are happening and which may happen in future. I'm very happy to launch SICCI's Core Connect series of monthly webinars today. Today's inaugural webinar will focus on future of mechanical and automobile engineering. Today, the term employability has changed vastly. It is no more connected with a mere degree. Today, what is needed is whether a person has the necessary skill set to offer value to the place where he works and thereby be successful. In fact, I understand that in certain companies in the US, more on the technology front, they are not stressing on a formal education. They are stressing purely on skill set which a person has and how useful he will be to the organization. So today it is not more about getting a job. It is about what skills can be acquired, how you can upskill yourself, and how this can be put to better use. Very important for all of us, more especially parents and students, to be fully informed of the various options available and how it would help them in their chosen career path. Mechanical engineering and automobile engineering, which in my view are the core engineering courses, have for long been associated with the automobile industry. Again, a core industrial activity which has helped many nations develop rapidly. Automobiles are highly complex products. What we see as the end product as a car may appear very simple, but what goes inside is extremely complex, created by greatly skilled mechanical engineers with great deal of skill and passion. Today, advent of electric vehicles has only created more scope for design and could significantly alter the role of engineers' contributions to vehicles. Chennai, which is known as the Detroit of Asia, is known for its automotive industry. Typically, a few questions arise. What will happen if I join mechanical engineering? Will electric cars replace the current cars? What is the future? We have had several such questions in the past. One experience which I would like to share, 20 years back, 25 years back, when call centers were there, people said call centers will vanish in 5 years. Nothing has happened. It is only continuing to increase. So irrespective of changes which may take place in technology, mechanical engineering, automotive engineering, will always continue to be in demand. So much of options are there in terms of designing of vehicles, replacing one component with the other, having different infrastructure, and the new electric vehicles. You have the drivetrain, you have battery. Each of it has separate technology, separate design, separate engineering. So even with any potential decrease in the importance of the conventional fuel-powered engine with electric, there is going to be lot of work for mechanical engineers to ensure that the cars which they design, automobiles which they design, are efficient, cost-effective, and are very safe. Another emerging area of focus, which I'm sure would be covered today, would be nanotechnology, and considering the gap between mechanical engineering and nano engineering, this would be quite integral to the growth of this sector. So in all sectors today in the world, more so in technology, there is a ongoing automation of traditional manufacturing and industrial practices using smart technology. So right from the Internet of Things to using mobile devices for things which we could not see it being used to earlier, detection of location, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, all this is only going to continue to increase as we progress. Ola,
Yeah.
in addition to the emerging sectors that are promising to the mechanical and automobile engineers, we are evolving into a defense and aerospace hub. There is also the proposal to create several mega food parks and cold storage chains in the state. Mahindra Electric, Tata Electric are already invested heavily into the state. There is also a vibrant shipbuilding industry which is present in Chennai. So it is evident that in Tamil Nadu, the demand for mechanical engineers will continue to increase, thereby making this stream as a very valuable stream of engineering once again. Before I conclude, let me just say a few words about SICCI. Founded in 1909 under the inspiration of Mahatma Gandhi, SICCI has completed 110 years of service to the industry. It continues to remain youthful, dynamic, and embracing change. SICCI has led the way in converting challenges presented by the pandemic, turning them into opportunities. And SICCI has worked with Guidance Tamil Nadu to engage with the Tamil diaspora outreach. Our flagship program, Yadumure Conclave, last year was attended by over 4,000 participants from over 38 countries and over 300 associations. We are working closely with Chennai Corporation to create a sister cities test which will connect the cities of Tamil Nadu with the cities of the world. We are also working with the Department of Culture to build an industry museum in Egmore. Another project worth mentioning is our work with the Chennai Metro Rail to set up a readers lounge. On this note, so with these brief remarks, I thank all the participants who have invested their time in joining us today. I thank you all for being with us, and I look forward to your continued support in the days to come. Thank you. Over to you, Vinod.
Thank you, Mr. Shivshankar. Thank you for your illuminating and very crisp welcome note. I now like to move on to our panel discussion session. So we have put together a list of eminent speakers, people who would be able to clearly give a 360-degree view, as our Vice President had mentioned, about mechanical and automobile engineering, and help the students as well as parents and other stakeholders know more about this specific sector, how the future is going to evolve, and how the inherent potential of this specific area of study. Without further ado, I'd like to request my colleague, Mr. Joshua Babu, to briefly introduce.
Thank you, sir. So we now move on to the panel discussion of this session. I would like to invite Mr. George Koshi. George Koshi is the head of the Employability Task Force of Southern India Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He comes with over a decade of experience in the field of learning and development. So he is currently the AGM and head of learning of Hyundai Motor India Limited. He has also worked in various companies, which include Survey Global, Infosys, Dorma, and Kevin Cat. So thank you for joining. And we would also like to invite Mr. Arul Prabhu. So Arul Prabhu is the head of human resource at Royal Enfield. He comes with a vast area of experience in the area of human resource. He has also worked in various companies, which includes Hinduja Group, the Sanma Group, and various other companies, and the Tata Group as well. Thank you for joining, sir. And we also have Mr. Babu Ramachandran. So he has over 25 years of experience in the manufacturing industry. So he has passed out from the NIT Calcutta, and he is currently the director of he is currently the director of Alstom India Group Limited, and he has also worked at various companies, which includes Daimler, and Daimler Trucks as well. And we also invite Mr. Dr. Ganesh. So Dr. Ganesh is the principal of Venkateshwara College. He is the professor and principal of the college. He has vast area of expertise, which includes soft computing, artificial intelligence, control systems, image processing, and various other fields of studies. So thank you all for joining. We would like to hand over the session to you, sir. So George, sir, you can start, please.
All right. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
So, good afternoon, all. I would like to thank South Indian Chamber of Commerce Industries, Mr. Shiv Shankar, Vinod and Joshua, and Venkateshwara College of Engineering to have invited us to have me here as a moderator for this panel discussion. We are going to discuss something which is pretty interesting, the future of mechanical and automobile engineering. My question is, why do you have to discuss? Looks like it's, it's only why should we discuss on something? Only when it is uncertain we may have to discuss on something like this. I don't know if it's uncertain. Is it bleak or is it amazing or is it exciting to actually be a part of the mechanical or automobile engineering? That's exactly what we are going to discuss. We're going to talk about, we're going to discuss on career progression of mechanical engineering students, for something about Industrial 4.0 and what are we doing with respect to the pandemic here. All these top things is something that we are planning to discuss. In fact, I can't think of a world without mechanical devices. I really can't. In fact, the ancient, I would say the invention is the wheel, right? In fact, that's the kind of mechanical device, and also a kind of in fact, the application of the wheel the application of the wheel was in pottery first. So right now, as you know, possibly why are we discussing on this is there a kind of a roadblock for mechanical and automobile engineering streams of study in the institutions and colleges? Is a good question to ask, because in many colleges people have said that the students don't take these streams much compared to IT and computer science and things like that. So it's a good discussion to actually take forward in terms of this is my first question to all the panel members. Probably each panel member can deliberate for 2 to 3 minutes and speak on this. What's the way forward for mechanical and automobile engineering if this is the kind of a situation where students are not inclined towards the stream of study? So I leave it open to the panel members now. Anyone can start.
Babu, we can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very, relevant question. It's in the mind of all the youngsters when they start a career. I mean, I can speak here as 25 years of experience is actually NIT Calicut, not Calcutta, but I can speak here because I have also, and I have also the other side. I'm also a parent of a son. My son has actually finished his mechanical engineer, so he had also the same situation some time ago, and now he is choosing his career to do his master's. So that way, maybe I can answer the question in this way. I guess he also asked me, and I also let him explore, and finally it went along. I think the answer is very obvious, but yes, the question is also very obvious to people that, oh, is there a future? What is happening? But definitely, as you rightly said, it's the world of mechanical devices. As long as people need to move, or there needs to be something to make work easier, make life easier, there is going to be.
We lost him again. I think this is something like
Prabhu, you can fill in.
Yeah, hi, good evening, all the future mechanical engineers and the people who are going to move the world. I think I'll just step in for Babu. I think once in a century we get something which really shakes up. Okay, I was talking about the exciting times we are in. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, I don't know whether Babu is there or I can't see him on the frame. So in case he's not there, then I'd like to speak. George is also vanished.
Oh,
So I think I'm still online, I think. So
yeah, you are.
probably to the benefit of over is 170 odd people. I think once in a century we get an opportunity to get us shaked up, and like in 1919, that's why the Spain flu came and all of us shook up, right? And then similarly in 2019, COVID has come and it's getting shaken us up. Similarly, the actual revolution in terms of the requirement for mechanical and automobile engineers were at peak in 1919, when many of these four-wheeler companies were just coming off the blocks, and a company like us, like Royal Enfield, was formed in 1901. But so this is actually the right opportune moment for people to get into these kinds of fields, which is with mechanical and automobile. Because if you look at the current, the requirement of the vehicles, automobile vehicles, specifically stick to automobile, because that is one of the core areas of the mechanical. We are producing something like 3 crore vehicles a year. And if you look at 2040, we'll be producing something like 9 crore vehicles a year. And we need people who would be able to design, who would be able to bring efficiency. And there are a lot of talk about the electrification. We need electric vehicles. Similarly, we need hybrids. And all these things, it has to be conceptualized, conceived, and designed by the mechanical engineers. Like Babu was saying, even my son is a mechanical engineer. After a lot of deliberation, he's supposed to become a mechanical engineer. And there are exciting opportunities. So he's not one of the run-of-the-mill mechanical engineers, but he likes to do a lot of robotic process automation, where he tries to make use of the opportunities which is built on mechanical engineering principles and automobile principles. So I think this is a great time for you guys to get into this field, because opportunities are plenty. And it all depends in your hand on how far you can go, because this is a great platform that's been set in India. Like we have got the Teslas coming in, we got the electric moving into electric vehicles. We have all the automobile industries, especially in Chennai, as the Detroit of India, produces about 70% of your personal vehicles. So I think it's no better place than being in Chennai and studying in an engineering college.
I think we can play this, continue playing this. It seems to be nice that Prabhu has already set the stage very well in terms of, like he says, that is the best time to get into mechanical engineering, because a lot of multinational companies are coming in, like Tesla, and it's a time to be there. And probably Babu, you can continue with thoughts. Yes.
Yeah. So as I was saying, this choice is definitely is going to come to people, but then I think it's quite obvious that there is a huge future, and I think nowhere like before. What we are seeing now is a very high level of integration of different fields, and I think you can see it's transforming the world around us. The way we have mechanical things, but which are working in automated ways, which are using higher technologies to make things easier. So definitely the application for mechanical engineers, the automobile engineers, we will have to keep transforming as the industry evolves, as the world evolves. I think we have gone through several industrial revolutions. The fourth one is what we call it as Industry 4.0. I guess there is much more to go. So in mechanical engineers I think we are looking forward the new engineers to make the Industry 5. This will come soon, but today it's Industry 4.0 and we are making it. So I think it's a bright future. It's a very, very dynamic present, and it's a very bright future. So I think over to you, George.
All right, thanks, Babu. Thanks for that thought in terms of, again, you're talking about the Industry 4.0, because most of the industries were very traditionally run, and now we are transforming into a smart factory where robotics and artificial intelligence play a major role.
No, while we're playing this game, let's just, whoever gets an opportunity, let us come in and talk. One of the fundamental things that we need to understand is that get our basics right. Mechanical engineering, automobile engineering is a very, very evolved engineering field. And you need to be very clear in what are you pursuing. If you are wanting to have your career path clear and moved upon, then you can take into super specializations. Please go on, George.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Thanks a lot. In fact, yeah, I've been trying to do this for a long time. I think Joshua missed you out in introducing Lakshmi Narayan. So I was little. I mean, I did not. I thought, probably Lakshmi was talked a little early. I really didn't know whether he missed, and then Vinod actually told me that Joshua had missed introducing. So I just wanted to introduce. Lakshmi is a founder director of Build HR Management Consultants Private Limited. Entrepreneurial ventures started with his spouse in 2007 with a vision to be the most trusted service partner for small medium enterprises. A postgraduate from DG Vaishnav College, graduated from Madras. He's certified in Thomas assessment, personal profile analysis, emotional intelligence, and I can go on. In fact, he had recruited me once also. Yeah, I think with Kevin K, right? Isn't it,
yes.
All right. So he's been a part of my career progression as well. Excellent. All right. So that's about Lakshmi. Lakshmi. So we talked much about what do you think about the future of mechanical and automobile engineering, and all of you say that that's the right place to be in as of now. So let me ask you another question which leads into that, in terms of the link between industry and academia in terms of mechanical and automobile engineering. So what do you think are the steps, what should be the steps taken by industries to actually improve the employability of candidates, students who are coming from mechanical and automobile engineering? So that's the question that I have. Probably I can give the question to Lakshmi Narayan.
Sure. Thank you, George. In fact, it's a very close question to me. Many times we always sit on the other side and say that the institutions are not producing good engineers. But what has the industries done? Today, many of our engineers are wanting to do their internship, their projects, their summer internships. But we don't have inspiring people to invite them and work with them and give them an opportunity to move forward. So what I would suggest is that the more and more the faculty should be part of these programs. The faculty should move away from the institution four walls and get into the industry. And all the engineers who are working there in the industry should take time off, like how you're talking about the balanced scorecard. There should be development, and every engineer on the floor should spend X hours with the young students and help them complete their projects, help them understand engineering. That partnership will help us to do many small projects, give understanding to the students, and bring in a much, much better hands-on engineers on the floor. Inspiration is missing. That is what I would say.
Don't you think it's like two ways for me? For me, I've always realized that as of now, that can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
George, you can hear you.
In fact, what I was saying is like, I think it's two ways, not just the industries uh, have to help the academia. I think the academia also should help industries as well. Many times I've seen that the industry is supporting academia, but the otherwise is not there in terms of industries don't go, for projects at the academia many times unless it is IIT so that means that the kind of an expert that we have in academia in terms of mechanical engineering and automobile engineering has to be improvised. What's your thought on that in terms of like probably this Babu can take the question.
Yes, George, it's a good point that it is a two-way thing. It's actually even a three-way thing for sure. The industry and institutions have a big role. I think industry is actually very receptive now because the industries have programs with fresh engineers, inducting fresh engineers, internship programs. I guess you can say there are not enough of them for sure, but there is a big receptivity for that because getting fresh interns or fresh engineers is going to be a big deal for the industry. And the other side, as an institution, they should foster these forums where industry and institutional linkages. I think it's a very interesting thing where they can put themes, build up some courses, or build up some tie-ups where they can get the experience for some of the students. The last but not the least, I think it's also for the students because I know there are very bright youngsters who bring out some solutions, bring out some ideas, and they need to take the chance. There should be also good forums like a hackathon or something which makes them be able to come out and showcase something. Sometimes we find very, very interesting solutions coming from people who have taken something in a totally different way. I am sure these three things, the three kind of ways is something which we should encourage more.
Prabhu, you want to step in, Prabhu? While George is coming in. Prabhu, would you want to? Yeah.
See,
In fact, yeah, I just got in. In fact, I just wanted to ask Prabhu also to add in a chip in terms of how Royal Enfield is supporting the academia in any instance, or any examples if you can provide. Be helpful.
see, primarily education when it comes, it is got the two parallels. One is the academic education which the institution imparts. The other one is the interest shown by the individual, the excitement shown by the individual to learn new things. When there is an excitement from the individual to learn new things, then he always approaches the various organizations, and organizations are more than happy to give projects to people in terms of as long as they show interest, rather than just doing it for the heck of completing their summer internship or sir, all I want is one certificate. If someone has got some excitement, how do they show their excitement? Is they come with projects what they've attempted, because you always give a very patient hearing when someone says, "Sir, I've tried this. I don't know where it is leading. Can your organization help us out?" So those kinds of initiatives are very well recognized and also fostered, rather than saying that sir, you tell us what project to do, because that is what most of the guys come and ask us. So do you have any specific interest? No, sir, whatever you say, my faculty has said that they will help us out. So you tell us. So there is a whole lot of difference because we see a lot of kids who come up with this approach now saying that I have tried this. Can I help? Can you all help us to give us a platform to experiment it? And because right now, if you look at it's a digital generation as we know. So they are all born with remotes in their hands and mobiles in their hands. So they know where to find for answers and what to know, what stone to turn to look for what. So I think the excitement comes from the kids, and the kids are absolutely innovative. And if you look at the kids, current kids, they what we call is they would like to do things differently. They don't want to take the path which is well beaten path, which is an easy path, but they would also like to see how can I be a differentiator. So I think we are more than happy to give opportunities to people who would like to come and say we'd like to make a difference.
Excellent. Thank you for that. In fact, I was also thinking about
You have to unmute.
George muted.
Where okay, when a student completes his engineering degree, be it a
Again,
yeah,
Noted again.
yeah, be it mechanical or automobile, vis-a-vis a student who completes his engineering along with some of the electives like probably artificial intelligence or coding. What I was saying is like people with electives like along with mechanical automobile engineering, along with electives like robotics and artificial intelligence, who is favored more in by industries? Like that's the question that I have.
maybe I can go first, George.
Yes, yeah.
I think there is no one which is only favored. I think everybody finds a way. Uh, in terms of application, maybe you will find something has more applications, more avenues coming up, but it's very dynamic. If it's you said robotics, but I also can think of data analytics. So there are different fields. I think it suits. There is energy, there is mobility, which is the electric vehicle or this robotics, AI. So there are people who, boys who can or girls who can take different views, different interests, pursue them, and I'm sure for everything there is a way ahead. And I think it's a future is about the road of innovation. So we will definitely they will make something which is better using what they learn, and then that goes further to the next step.
Okay, all right.
George, if I were to add to what Babu says, it is not we're looking for super specialists from each of these locations. We're looking for generalists who would like to specialize in one area. So people have to understand these various technologies, its interconnectedness, if they have to specialize in one area. So suddenly you can't become an artificial intelligence or a robotic process automation specialist if you don't understand the fundamentals of mechanical engineering. So all we are saying is let your basics grounded, and from there, whichever discipline you want to branch out, it's more than welcome as long as you show the interest and keenness to learn there.
So what you're saying is the basic is always the core mechanical engineering or automobile engineering. All the other electives can support you, is what you're saying, right? So in fact, when you walk into an ATM machine to actually take money, I always think that it is the computer or the coding that helps in actually taking out the money. But then everybody forgets the kind of an ATM device by itself, which is much of a mechanical device, right? And which has kind of which has to give out or disburse money with no errors at all. And it's a great mechanical device, if I should let you know, right? Okay, so. Just wanted to in fact there are some questions. I saw some kind of a hand raise. I don't know if there's any questions from the participants. I would like to take some questions from the participants, probably be it on chat or if the host can help, that would be really good. So for all the students here there could be somebody who is like who's pursuing there are people who are pursuing their mechanical engineering and automobile engineering, or there could be students who have completed their 12th grade and who would want to get into any engineering stream. So to them, like, do you have any kind of what could be their takeaways from this discussion that we are having in terms of future of mechanical engineering? There could be somebody who is really excited to or probably passionate about mechanical engineering, but then the way that the market is going, the way that things are going, especially I can give you a kind of a thing which is happening right now during pandemic. What's happening is most of the people who are in the IT sector, they continue to work from home. Right now, I'm actually wearing a shirt and probably a shorts and sitting and working at home. But then I prefer to go to office, wearing my formal trousers and actually go and meet real people rather than sit in front of a system, looking at virtual people. So people might love to have that a kind of a work style in terms of sitting at home and working. Like, so in what way mechanical engineering stream can help you in this is the question. right? Probably how companies like probably Alstom and Royal Enfield is helping their employees and during this pandemic.
See, we create a environment which is safe, right? And that's what we have done for our plants, because we very few days we have closed our plants, even though the plants are all running. All we did was to ensure that we use the SMS, right? Sanitize, mask, and social distance. So this has been very meticulously followed, and we have done a lot of testing. So we did something like 40,000 RT-PCR testing, and before that the antigen testing, so that we can catch any of these symptoms as well as the illness early, so that we don't allow it to spread within the plant. So that's one part of it. And secondly, we have also given the design team, the product development team, wherever people could work from home, so they don't need to come to the plant. So we wanted to minimize the number of people who are coming into the plant. If they don't need to physically be there, we're not really worried whether they should be there or not, as long as the work gets done. And I think it's worked out beautifully well, because the last 15 months we have been managing the entire organization with many people working from home, and the people who have to be there in the assembly line and those who have to be in the shop floor being available there. So there's a good understanding, and people are not complaining about the guys who are not coming, or the guys who are there in their home and still being extremely productive. So there's a good understanding in the organization, and we still think like a startup, even though we're a large organization. But that's what has lent us to fight this unprecedented pandemic the best way possible.
Okay.
Let me chip in. I think very clearly exactly what Mr. Prabhu said. The safety being the first parameter to ensure that the working conditions are fine, social distancing, SMS measures. What we are also facing, and the manufacturing has to run. That is one thing where you cannot work from home. You have to be the people at the plant have to be there in the production shop floor. So
Exactly.
using the shift or the team A, team B kind of systems to make sure that there are people enough to run the show, as well as keeping the distance and things like that. That is one thing. And other thing is we have also the engineering team can work from home a large way. But then what is also needed is to connect to the product. So for this, it's possible using these new technologies, using the video calling methods. We have also the glasses which enables people to actually do a live inspection there, wearing the glasses, and the team at the back end can also keep interacting with them. So this is very much possible, and we do a lot of that with our suppliers as well, because the suppliers are also working with a limited staff, and we have travel restrictions for the safety reasons, so we do not physically go there, but then we do it from this distance. So remote inspection, remote quality, this really works. Okay, I think we have tided over last year with a lot of these things and really met our deliverables with our demanding customers. So I think this is the future, the way we will adapt, because this is maybe making sense as well to do. Yeah.
In fact, I was more interested in the glamour involved in the IT field, vis-a-vis your hands getting dirty in the mechanical or the automobile field. Like, what could be your advice for students, probably who would be looking out for a job in the IT? Probably their interest would be so much mechanical, but just because of this kind of the infrastructure and going to work, getting their hands dirty, there could be some kind of a difference. What are your thoughts on that?
If I can.
Yes, Lakshmi, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. See, if you go around and you look at the engineering colleges where campuses are happening and young engineers are wanting to get into the industry, most of them take up the so-called the bulk hirers and keep the offer in hand. But every engineer, if you ask him, he will say that I'm waiting for a core industry. If I don't get a core industry, my second choice is to go into this glamour industries. So where does this language come is basically because people are not taught and set right the thinking at the institution level. The academia needs to tell the people that You cannot say that I will keep this as a backup, I will do this. The next part that we are talking about is that at a very young mind, what is getting appealing is your surface level of interest. It is that glamour, it is that big glass building, it is that tag on your neck, and it is that jostling, and it is that pantry. This is what many of us in the first 6 months of getting jobs go back to our college friends or WhatsApp group and tell that, hey, machan, idu nalla irundhudu. Hey, this was nice. Hey, they gave me this. Today also you see in the social media, people taking snaps of saying that I was given this bag, this toolkit, and hats off to my company. But those are all small throwaways. It is like the politics which is giving you one bag of rice and asking you for a vote. It is giving you 200 rupees and asking you for a vote. Is this how we are going to manage our resources? When I passed out from my college, at that time, the management trainee program was the most glamorous one. I went around all over India. I spent 6 months through that program. And today, though I am in HR, I can spend equal time on the welding floor. I know what a 6G welding is. I know what press shop is. I know blanking is. If we are talking about all these things, it was learned during my program. I want the industries to spend more time in accepting, do the 555 model, first 5 days, settle them down, demystify, get them onto that romanticization of the job and ground them. The next 5 weeks, teach them what is the job expected of them. And the next 5 weeks, tell them how do you want to bring in your engineering in it. This 555 model is something which needs to come from my institution to my hiring managers who are coming in. My engineers are very, very important. They are orphaned. Engineers are being replaced with diploma. Diplomas are getting replaced with ITI. Who is teaching the engineers? Who is teaching the diploma? I think that is something where we need to go back, bring in life and spirit, and make people feel no one is a second citizen. Everyone is equally important, and you need to align, mix, and do your elective papers. Choose elective papers based on your interest. Don't do elective papers because your neighbor did this, because that is the trend that is happening in the industry. You study this, you go to America. You study this, you get a gig economy job. You study this, you do a glamorous job where you get paid heftily. No. What is on the long curve? I think my managers like Prabhu and Ram will be able to tell who is actually growing in the long run, who is getting shallowed.
I like to take a leaf out of Lakshmi. He was lucky; he had a 6 months training, but we had an 18-month training as management.
Excellent.
Right. So we were put in production, maintenance, technical service, so all kinds of things. At the end of the day, even though the specialization was HR, we appreciated everything. So basically, what this does is it makes you come and shift. It makes you understand what these engineers are going through. Of course, it was the same course for all, whether you're in Ahmedabad or from Madras School or from IIT. So it was the same 21 people were put through all these things. But why that is important is appreciation is very, very important, right? And the second thing is, are you allowing people to deep dive into your products? Because that is not something which is happening now. But in Royal Enfield, we have a very good system for about a year. The GETs are put through 6 projects, have to identify. But very few institutions take that trouble. Primarily because now what has become as off late, if you look at the organizations I've been speaking to, now everything is boiled down to cost ever since the COVID has come. They're saying knock off this, knock off that, and the first thing to knock off is your people cost. Why is people cost is going up, right? So, but having said all this, as I said, no, it is very, very important for people to show initiative. I think our kids are wonderful, right? Our kids are, got great amount of enthusiasm, great amount of curiosity, and what we do when people enter the organization is to kill that. You say, no, don't ask these questions. No, you see, your manager will get upset. Oh, no. I think what you're saying, what do you think? I've been doing this for 20 years, and 20 years the results have been very good, and you want to question the status quo. Yeah. So I think this curiosity building should start from, not only, it doesn't happen only in institutions. When I'm talking about the industry, even in the colleges, the kid goes and walks in and asks a couple of questions to the professor there. The first thing what happens is that he gets earmarked. Oh, I don't think this guy is in conformance, because conformance has got a better value in Indian education system than being curious. So I think you kids can be curious, and I think the opportunities now are aplenty, and people do not look down if you are being curious, especially in any organization, any multinational, any national company like a Bajaj or a Hero or a TVS, and people don't look down on you if you're curious. Actually, the other way around. People are more appreciative of you if you're curious. So keep your curiosity, keep learning.
Thanks, thank you, Lakshmi.
George, if I may add a different facet to what both the speakers said, very nicely they have said about it. I think I also have very fond memories of the initial 2 years as a GET, and I had the peculiar situation of sticking out to get into a core industry. At that time, it was a fashion to get into IT, and I mean, there were jobs in IT. I probably was a lucky one to get a opportunity with L&T at that time. Maybe if I had not got it, I would have had to stick to the IT job because that was offered. But what it struck me, and therefore what was in my mind at that time, I felt as youngsters, and this is even applicable anytime, they carry with them a lot of aspiration, and this aspiration is reflecting in the passion of what they do. So if they take a job in an IT, it's also with a lot of passion. Okay, but I think at the end of it, they look at what is being achieved by that, what is their, how their passion is delivered. And I think if people look at it that way, then they should look at the iconic products which are being built. Of course, you can always relate to an IT product. Okay, somebody made a banking software, somebody does, these things. These are there. This is maybe a little bit intangible. But if you look at what is done in this core industry, I think my friend, Mr. Prabhu, he makes a very iconic product. Okay, I'm sure every one of these youngsters would like to buy and own this. George, you know the product which I'm sure everybody will come to buy in some time or the other.
Correct.
And my product is in my background, which is a bit not something which everybody would buy, but it's the Waxwell, which is the 12,000 horsepower locomotive for our Indian Railways. Okay, so this is a pride which somebody or the other, they work for a supplier, they work for Alstom, be it an ITI or a diploma guy or an engineer. All of them have turned a nut and bolt and built this up. So at the end, they can actually see a huge pride in this. They are building the nation. They are building the future, not only for themselves, for a million other people. So I think this can come like anything for people who take a career in a core industry. Not to belittle software or other industries. Definitely, that is also contributing to the nation. But I think the passion which we carry is something which can be, realized when you do this. So that is what I would like to add about the passion.
In fact, we were saying yesterday about the GDP contribution of,
yes,
saying something like that yesterday, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, moving towards the, you were talking about. I mean, I was just, I started this discussion by saying I can't think of a world without mechanical devices. Like, you look around, anything around you has been like either built using some mechanical devices. Like, it could be whatever you see around. It has been designed or redesigned by a kind of, whether it's all manufacturing places and stuff like that. Now, for students who are studying in colleges, like when it comes to IT and computer sciences, I'm not here to compare only IT and mechanical, but then this is a question that keeps coming in terms of the content, that students study, the curriculum that they study. How advanced are they when it comes to mechanical engineering and automobile engineering vis-a-vis computer science or an IT? Probably Ganesh has not responded much. Ganesh is here, can respond to this question. What's the that we have in the curriculum?
Yeah, thank you, George, for the question. And see, so far I've been just watching because most of these questions have been related to, the industry. And even I was able to get a lot of information from Babu and, Prabhu. Yeah. See, just one thing before I would like to answer this question posed to me. See, Prabhu was mentioning about the, teachers like the students to be more, conforming with their ideas, and they suppress the curiosity. No, the present scenario is even education is becoming more and more student centric. In fact, unless we revamp our curriculum and all our infrastructure to the interest of students, students simply shun, whatever the education you have to offer them. So that is why, this new educational policy and other documents, they suggest that everything should be student centric, which means whatever is their passion, right? You have something or other to, to offer them. So that is the kind of situation we are presently in. That is why, good institutions. See, if you want to know, how these things can happen, right? Like whether how to make it student centric, it's quite a hard thing to do. But that's where there are many opportunities for autonomous institutions where you can make all this curriculum and other things more interdisciplinary. Like if you take even a college which is autonomous, there is a chance for a computer science student, right, to test his algorithm in a mechanical application. So to that extent, the student can actually enroll in a course that is taught by a mechanical professor and get to know more about this particular thing. And the vice versa is also true. Students of mechanical engineering, it is very much essential for all the core discipline students to know at least some amount of computer engineering, because that is considered to be the brain behind most of the applications, as you rightly pointed out by many of the experts here. So the institution has to first empower itself to bring about all these changes. Unfortunately, if you are in an affiliated system where you are one among hundreds of institutions coming under a big technical university, you have to simply go by the outdated curriculum and whatever the university has to give you. I won't blame the university, because the university has to compromise on some standard that will cater to both the good colleges as well as the mediocre and the the poor ones, right? Because there will be a mix up of colleges of various standards. So one way where the students can really make use of what the institution has to offer is by choosing an appropriate institution, but by first studying the curriculum to see if it is really interdisciplinary, and then the infrastructure, as someone pointed out here, right? The infrastructure is very important. See, I think in the last 10 years, if I am right in my understanding, and even going by the statistics, you will find that core disciplines have been ignored by many institutions. Like if you take the recently started institutions in the last 10 or 15 years, ever since IT boom was there, many of these institutions started off with the disciplines which is easier for them to establish. Like very well that if you take the old institutions, they have mechanical and other lab core discipline lab set up like an industry to give the students the feel of an industry itself. But of late, an air conditioned room with the 20 or 30 computers will serve the purpose. Of course, this is also essential for the students to learn the IT part of the core discipline, because every other application is supported by IT. So that way, what I'm trying to tell you is, it is the onus, it is on the part of the institution that we have to facilitate this interaction. And I'm quite sure that other things like the industry interaction, which was also in one of your questions, is a very important thing as far as what you call kindling the interest of the students is concerned. Because it is not all about simulation, no, that you see you can program a robo, but unless you download this program to a robo or a CNC and see that it is really churning out the object of your choice, that's where the excitement comes in. This is what students will get to know when they undergo internship. So students, the prospective students and the current students, have to be really choosy about selecting the institution wherein they have to check if the curriculum is interdisciplinary, whether irrespective of the discipline. See, we are not here to tell some discipline is good, some is bad, but the core connect is certainly getting widened. The connect to the core. As someone pointed out, not everything is there are some intangible products as well, but the core industries are the backbone of the economy. That way, I'm quite sure that there has to be a balance of IT and computer science in the curriculum, which has to be integrated with the core disciplines. And it is the onus it is the part of the institution, the what do you call, the board of studies or whatever, the academic council, all the the boards that decide on the curriculum, the industry interaction cell, and last but not the least, the training given to the faculty. Unless the faculty themselves are industry trained, at least during the vacation and the time when they get, right, it is not possible for them to pass on this information about the excitement uh, uh, in the industry to the students, right? Then it simply becomes a bookish kind of knowledge. So that way, I think it is certainly the institution's responsibility for to bringing about all these changes. I don't know if I have answered the question. Was I audible, or I don't know if my
Yeah, it
Yes,
was.
yes, you
Yeah.
were. And
They didn't mute you at all. They're scared of you.
I was wondering if my mic was also getting cut. I didn't look at the
But we
mic.
can't see you, so but
Yeah.
we could hear you. Yeah.
In fact, you mentioned about education has to be more student-centric, and you also talked about integration of IT and mechanical engineering, more of mechatronics is something that you were talking about, and training the faculties. Most of the faculties should go back to industries and get trained, is what you were saying. So we understood that. Um, in fact, you never spoke about the curriculum part of it in terms of, like, how advanced are they for mechanical engineering?
Certainly. So, yeah, I thought it's implied. The curriculum has to be certainly modernized. But again, that's what I said, in the last 10 years, if you look at the institutions that have these core disciplines like mechanical or electrical, you will not find any of the new institutions having these disciplines, probably because of the investment. Once again, in this modern era, if I were to set up an institution in core discipline right now, it is going to be a very heavy investment on the person who is coming forward to do it. But certainly it is possible for the institutions which are already running these disciplines to, in a phased manner, modernize their laboratories. Say, for example, you can do away with all the traditional lathes. Don't mistake me for saying this. Maybe I think there are still some roadside workshops and doing a very good job with with all this traditional lathes. I'm saying that certainly students will look for some equipments like 3D printers, right? And the CNC machines, the advanced ones. So in a phased manner, modernization has to happen, both in terms of what the curriculum, that is the courses that we teach. That's what I said. Autonomous institutions will be able to bring in these changes in a much more efficient way. Why? Because they have industry people in their what do you call councils, and these industry people won't let us simply go away without making the changes happen. But unfortunately, out of 500 and odd institutions in the state of Tamil Nadu, the engineering institutions, only 30 institutions are autonomous, which means these are the only institutions which are fully empowered to bring about the change. You can squarely blame those institutions if they are not going to, live up to the expectations of the industry. But leaving out these 30, the rest, maybe again around 500 and odd institutions, you can't expect much of changes to be brought in, because they again need the permissions from the university, unless the university is going to make these changes at the core level, at its level. And again, there will be a lot of protests, right? Because maybe some institution will be willing to bring about these changes, maybe some other not. They will say, how come during this period you want us to do all this? So consciously the managements which are really want to provide a good because it's a cyclic process, I feel. See, once you churn out good graduates, the reputation of the institution increases in the society. It gets you better quality input. So it's a cyclic process. So to get good admissions, you need to impart a good education to the students. Good education will obviously come through modernization, because unless you give the latest education to the students, industries will squarely reject them, right? So it's obviously, when we are talking about the core connect, and while core industries are getting more and more automated and more, no, because it's all interdisciplinary. Obviously the curriculum has to be interdisciplinary as well, failing which the society will simply shun the institution. This is what is my submission. So change in curriculum is inevitable, and it has to certainly happen. Otherwise we cannot talk. We don't have any reason to talk about this topic at all.
Thanks. Thank you for that. In fact, you made an excellent point. Like the autonomous college has is empowered, or probably if they don't keep changing their curriculum and making it more relevant and exciting, then you have to blame the college, is what you were saying. It's exciting. Okay, so that's a good point that you have made. In fact, I don't know whether we have time for. Can we take some questions from the audience? If they have any questions, probably we can. Do we have any questions? Do we have Joshua? Who's the host here? Because I'm not able to see the chat window. Chat is disabled. So
Well, currently disabled this mic option for everyone. Just give me a moment. I'll be enabling it shortly.
All right.
So in the meantime, if there are a lot of
go ahead.
In the meantime, if there are a lot of aspirations, people who are here who are aspiring to do mechanical and automobile engineering, a quick quick fact, as we call it, if you're looking at your friends who are going into software and getting jobs, and if you look at their salaries in 3 years' time, on a median basis, you'll be 20% more salary when you're working in a core industry than a software company. And if you look at an 8-year period, you'll be 40% more earning more than your software colleagues on a median basis. Of course, there will be one-off guy who will be earning a very high salary, but on a median basis, you'll be 40% earning more than your friends after 8 years. So just have that in the back of your mind.
So more than anything, I feel the real expertise comes from the shop floor, or the real expertise comes from the. That's what is my kind of submission.
That's an important point. In fact, probably you should have said this much earlier in the discussion itself. Salary difference in terms of IT and mechanical. That's a good point.
Mr. Joshua, you can mute people, collect the questions through the chat box, and then pass it on to the experts.
Okay, sir.
We again have some.
In the meantime, probably I want to ask. Probably this is an open question again. What's the guidance that you would provide in order to build a great career? I hope you can hear me. In order to build a great career in mechanical engineering / automobile engineering, what could be some of the takeaways, guidances that industry experts like you would want?
Want me?
Okay. It's a very interesting question. I think it is linked to one point which I feel as engineers, as budding engineers, of course in any field, but particularly if you look at mechanical engineers or automobile engineers for that matter. Yes, you have a lot of opportunities to prepare for becoming employable and becoming going into industry. I think when you choose the course and choose your electives, you need to choose them carefully, knowing what is your taste, where your strengths are, or maybe other way around, to build up your improve on the weaknesses points. So you may end up in careers which go towards mobility, or you may go into air conditioning, different fields. Equip yourself with technologies, keep reading, keep going updated on what is going on. So it is definitely useful if a core engineer also knows a bit about analytics, or at least he knows the concepts of maybe some software programming, or other way around, he or she knows a bit of some other field. And as as Dr. Ganesh said, it's very interdisciplinary. You cannot say I am a core engineer and I know only mechanical. I think you can prepare yourself with knowing other things, knowing a bit of interdisciplinary stuff, and keeping yourself updated of what is happening in the industry. And I think today you have a lot of streams to get this updated. I think that would make it really a big thing to prepare yourself. And there's one thing in the heart of what I say. You have to look at what is the society's problem you would like to solve. Maybe you have an opportunity to do it when you pursue your career. Please look at that. When you and this is something yesterday when I picked up when I think it was Mr. Prabhu who said something. It can appeal to each person from every diverse background you come from. You can always relate to something which you find is a problem which you can solve, and that is what is all about. Thank you.
So you're talking about innovations, you actually find a problem for the society to solve. It's more like, you innovate or create something new, and is what you're looking at, right? In terms of, you think that is, if you have that kind of a vision, if you have that kind of a mindset, probably it will be helpful for you as for every student. All right. Anybody else like?
So to your question, I would say first, understand your aptitude. Please see, that's what Ram was also talking about. Where is your heart? Where is your natural inclination to? Don't pick up an engineering because someone else told you. Go by what your aptitude is. As an engineer, please get to understand small improvements and do it hands-on, like Kaizen, QC stories, statistical process control. All these things you learn. These are the fundamentals that you need to learn for you to really grow up. Another thing, as an engineer, I would say, more so from a mechanical and automobile engineer, is that please come out of this Friday, Monday syndrome. Even today in the hostels, Friday, 3 o'clock, all of us disappear from the hostel, go to our hometowns. Monday morning, we will think that we'll take the first bus and come to college. We will not come. This syndrome is what is coming to in the factory. This Friday, Monday syndrome is a big issue for you to be a successful engineer. Learn to work in shifts. Please don't hesitate to put your hands on. Even yesterday, I was seeing in the social media that the drums which are coming in, that is slit in the center, and then that is made as a tool kit, which is with wheels mounted and it is moving around with a first aid kit and all the tools inside. Such innovations, that's what you're saying. What is the problem you would like to solve? Please go down to the simplest of engineering and do line diagrams. Please put process flow. Please try to draw the blueprint, understand, read the blueprint, learn to. Engineering drawing is a fundamental. If you don't pass in your ED, as an engineer, you will fail. Get those fundamentals right. Don't develop an aversion because your faculty was harsh to you, because he rapped your knuckles, because he failed you in the internals. No, those are not the reasons for you to hate a subject. Your heart has to drive you, and please search for that. Please start early in assessing your aptitude and then do it. Don't realize after 35, 40 years and go on loops. That's what I would say.
But Lakshmi, there's a saying that you like a subject because you like a teacher, and you hate the subject because you hate the teacher. Isn't
no. You and I grew up like that. What to do? We are old.
Anyway, so Prabhu, you wanted to add something? Add a few more points?
I think I look at life very differently. Kids will learn on their own pace what they want to learn, right? Many a times we'd like to impose on them what we went through and what we thought was important in life. But I think the paradigm has completely shifted, and you speak to the kids today, they know what they want to do. So I would like to less sermonize and more envelop.
Excellent, very nice. In fact, concepts like design thinking and all those things is more experimental in nature, like, do trial and error through experimentation, solve problems for the society. In fact, what they speak more is on finding a problem rather than actually going and solving a problem. There's a big difference between finding a problem and solving a problem, right? Finding a problem is like, when a process is really good or when a device is actually doing fine, is there anything that you can do further or to make it more better, to make the experience of the user better and stuff like that? And I think mechanical engineers and automobile engineers have a big role to play in these areas in terms of solving problems for your customers, for your users. Do we have any questions from the participants here? If we can take some questions, and otherwise we can wind up.
No, I believe some of them raised hands. I don't know if it was cracked or maybe
Yeah,
Anyone?
I can still see
Yeah, I
some.
think there's one more.
KPR has raised his hand. Probably if we can unmute him and we can take few questions. A couple of questions, I think we can.
And Mr. Ramanathan.
Correct. Can we unmute those?
So the participants can unmute themselves. They are given the access.
Maybe you can fix the number so that we can limit it to.
Sir,
We can take a couple of questions, is what I.
Yes, Mr. Ramanathan, you can go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. KPR.
sir, according to you,
Yeah, go ahead.
sir, according to you, which job do you think it would be the best? Going for ahead for foreign jobs in mechanical engineering or doing central government jobs?
Who's taking that question?
No, it depends upon what you want to do in life, Ramanathan. Are you looking for security or are you looking for excitement? If you are looking for security, your central government job is there, but there also there's a lot of excitement if you look at the Abdul Kalams of the world. But if you're someone who feels that, no, I'm extremely confident that my competency will carry me through, and I wouldn't be daunted by a multinational if suddenly they say we are closing shop and look for another job. If you have the confidence and you say, yes, I can manage it because of my competency and the deep learning I have, I think the choice is the individual.
Maybe
May I
I
be
can-
allowed to answer? Though I am an academician, I would like to share my thoughts on this. So, Mr. Ramanathan, I think you asked this question. I don't know if you are a pursuing mechanical engineering or you are prospective mechanical engineering graduate. I think people would have told you that you do mechanical, then go to do some specialization in Germany. That's where it's all, going to be the future for you. But from our viewpoint, right, we have also done some statistics. We have studied some statistics. Please be assured that our country has a lot to offer for the core discipline engineers, especially in the next 5 years. There's going to be a lot of focus made by the government in investment in the core engineering sector. And not only that, don't think startups are only the children of IT guys, and you have a computer, you can have a startup. No, government is coming up with a lot of schemes like production linked incentives, right? You can have not only that MSME, you go to MSME website, you find a lot of things. So as long as you are interested, as long as you have the capability, right, I think you can shine anywhere, even within our country too. Probably you will be earning then in euros or in dollars. I don't know if US has got some prospects. Maybe the other experts can share their opinion. But certainly India is also equally promising. So that's what is my understanding of all the data and other things. Because see, we are also running mechanical engineering. We need to certainly pass on this message to the students. Because otherwise there's no point in admitting students and leaving them jobless. So we can be rest assured that there is a lot of prospects for core engineers, especially from mechanical, and especially if you apply for automation, right? So be good in computers also, as well as be good in mechanical or whatever is the core sector. Then certainly you will have your prospects anywhere you go. This is what is my submission.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I see two more raised hands. Like Sudarshan has raised his hand.
There was KPR who had raised his hands. Maybe he can go
Yeah.
first.
Oh, Mr. KPR, is he asking question?
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Sir, I'm K. Palash Reddy. Sir, to improve the industrial skills for the students, the academic structure should be, there should be some modifications, sir. We are asking the students to come Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, and we are not giving them enough exposure to hone their industrial skills to solve the problems. All the time they'll be in only academic. So what is happening is the industrial exposure is reduced. So what I feel is The colleges, they should have only Monday to Thursday, and the weekends should be kept only for industrial exposure. It could be consultancy, it could be R&D, like that, so that students will get enough exposure for the latest technologies. They can go to industry, or the industry people can come and give lectures, or they conduct workshops. There will be some breathing time for the students and even for staff also. So this is my observation, sir. The first one. And the second one is regarding funding. So a lot of students, a lot of companies are there where they only, maybe they may sign MOU, but they don't adopt. So the question is, why can't industries adopt the colleges and then groom them to make them the world class? And the third is regarding funding. Every industry, they have some CSR funding. So the government should bring a system where the funds donated by the companies to the colleges can be brought under CSR funding. So these are my three observations, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. KPR, are you a student or a faculty?
No, I am a faculty, sir.
Yeah, sir.
So your points are well taken, Mr. KPR. I think good institutions certainly have all these things. But nevertheless, I think this message should go to all the people who are present here, and it should be conveyed. Yeah, very, very correct. Good institutions, you will find they certainly spare a lot of time, and especially if they're autonomous. With an autonomous curriculum, it is possible for you to give some credits also to all the industrial training that you said, we should spare some time for that. And number two is good institutions also set up labs in collaboration with industries. The industries are too busy, but we can take up some small problems faced by industries and try to solve for them. And the third one, CSR, I think the industry people should be able to throw some light, but industries are very much forthcoming to also share the CSR funding with the institutions, and it is also happening. Anyway, thanks for your suggestions.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Like there's one more raised hand, I suppose.
Sir, I request the speaker to share his mail ID, sir.
Okay. All right. Do we have any more questions? Otherwise, we will wind up. Probably we'll. In fact, we discussed on various aspects of all the three. Speakers mentioned that in the future, the best place to be in is mechanical automobile engineering is what their thoughts are. In fact, Prabhu supported it with the salary differences as well in terms of 8 years difference in the 40% hike in respect to the IT counterparts is what he was mentioning. They all shared their nostalgic moments with respect to when they joined their core engineering, when they started their kind of a career in their engineering industries. In fact, what they learned from these from their particular industries as well. In fact, I also, when they were talking about it, I was thinking that I joined MRF at that moment. In terms of, I was thinking that you learn a lot from core industry. Things like discipline and a lot of other things, processes, and a lot of things that you learn from a core engineering company compared to any other industries. What they were saying. They were also mentioned about the integration of IT and mechanical engineering in terms of it is always good for students to not just rely only on mechanical engineering and automobile engineering going forward. Possibly if they can integrate with data analytics and robotics and artificial intelligence and so forth, probably they could reach or probably get into the kind of, because we are moving towards industry 4.0, which is more of like a smart factory, and I think you'll find more relevance if mechanical engineers can actually take some more electives like this and probably go forward. In fact, Dr. Ganesh was talking about institutions should play a vital role in terms of improving their curriculum enhancing their curriculum, making it more relevant, and also should become more relevant as well. Content should become more relevant for when it comes to mechanical engineering. Those are some of the things that we discussed today. I think I would have missed something, but then I think I took some of the main points and I spoke to summarize it. Anything that I missed, probably you guys can add as well. Feel free to add if I missed on something. Probably any last thoughts that you have. Probably we can each one of you can share, and we'll close the discussion.
So one of those things the students or the participants should learn is to have a lot of resilience and patience.
Okay.
When people were trying to mute us and log us out, we still managed to hold on together and complete the program.
Yeah. In fact, we had a lot of difficulties.
We have done this when we were students, right?
Yeah. Maybe I can say one line. For me, I think one key message would be follow your passion.
Okay. Very nice. Follow passion. Lakshmi, anything that you want to say?
Yeah, I would say that choose your electives in such a way that you do a combo. Don't be a pure play. The electives that you choose, go out of the way. The new education policy encourages you to learn something out of it, get credits. So this is the right time for you to continuously invest on yourself. Don't think that after college you're finished. Do that continuously. From your first month salary, invest at least 10% of your salary onto acquiring some certificate course, some program. Don't stop learning.
In fact, I just want to close, probably by saying a proverb. In fact, many of you would have heard this proverb. It's called the Serengeti Proverb, which probably would have seen it in most of the lobbies. It says that in Serengeti, it's a wildlife sanctuary in Kenya. It says that every day a gazelle or a deer wakes up, it knows that it has to outrun the fastest lion, otherwise it will get killed. Every day a lion or a cheetah wakes up, it knows that it has to outrun the slowest deer, otherwise it will starve. It doesn't matter whether you're a lion, deer, or a gazelle. You better start running when sun rises, or you better start running. That's more important. So Darwin's theory is like survival of the fittest. Like it is like in the forest. If you are fit, you'll survive. That's Darwin's theory. But corporate Darwinism is very different, or industry Darwinism is different. It is survival of the fastest. The faster you learn things, the faster you acquire knowledge, be it mechanical or automobile or whatever it is. I think that's where you'll survive in the corporate world or in the industry world, is what I would want to say. Thanks for the opportunity. Ganesh, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, you have summarized everything. See, my only, I thank SICCI for this opportunity. My wrapping up message is that, okay, you don't have any reason to not connect with the core, right? Maybe on one side, IT seems to be IT and, allied disciplines seem to be very attractive. Even, the work from home options, though on one side, we look at the safety measures, right? Of course, but you can't be, sitting at home, and sitting at home is not a permanent, sustainable solution. We need to certainly come out, right? We hope and pray that things will be all right soon. And, there is no reason whatsoever for us to not connect with the core. This is what is my wrapping up message. I take this opportunity to thank SICCI to share us and share our thoughts. Okay, thank you. And especially thanks to George also for giving us this opportunity and for asking very nice questions. Thank you
very much. Thank you. Thank you. Avi, over to Joshua and Vinod.
Thank you, Mr. Koshi. Thank you so much from SICCI to all our panel members. I thank Mr. Arulanda Prabhu, Mr. Babu Ramachandran, Mr. Lakshmi Narayanan. I thank each and every one of you for investing your time. You have shared your experience, your insights generously. I thank you. SICCI thanks you from the bottom of our heart for taking this time out and sharing your thoughts. We also regret the initial disturbances when we're not able to seamlessly handle all the discussions. And I look forward to your continued support. And we hope that moving forward, we'll be able to engage with a wider stream of people more effectively and more usefully. Thank you so much. I wish you a blessed weekend and safe times ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.